Hi, in this video I'd like to show you how to calibrate a rev counter fitted with the Clocks for Classics repair kit. And there's three things that we need to calibrate. First of all, we need to teach the electronics the exact position of the markings on the rev counter scale. Then we need to set the rev counter for the correct number of cylinders, so that's 4, 6 or 8 cylinders depending on your car. And finally, we need to set up the signal polarity, positive or negative, depending on your car's electrical system. Now, as you can see, I have a rev counter here, and this has been fitted with the Clocks for Classics repair kit. And I've connected the wiring from the rev counter to this car battery on the bench. So I've connected the black wire to the negative terminal of the battery and the red wire to the positive terminal. And the white wire from the rev counter I've left unconnected for this calibration. Now, the way we carry out the calibration is by using this calibration button on the one corner of the circuit board. It's quite small, but I hope you can see it there. And if I press that button, it gives quite an audible click, so you can hear easily when you've pressed it. Now, the way we start the calibration is to hold that button down for 5 seconds, which I'm going to do now. And when I release the button, you'll see that the needle will start to move very slowly around the scale. So I'm releasing the button now. It takes a few seconds before the needle starts to move, but in a moment you will see that it will. And there it goes, starting to move very slowly around the scale. Now, if I press and release this button quickly, it will briefly stop the needle, so that helps me to position it on the scale. And when the needle gets to the 1000 RPM point, that's the first calibration point, I'm going to hold that button down for at least 5 seconds, and that will teach the electronics where the 1000 RPM point is. So it's coming up to that point now, and I'm holding the button down now. And I hold it down for 5 seconds, and there you can see the needle gave that little kick, and that means that the electronics has registered the position of the 1000 RPM point. Now I'm going to release the button and the needle will start to move again. And now I'm going to carry out exactly the same procedure for the 3000 RPM point. Okay, we're getting close to 3000 RPM now, so I'm going to slow the needle down with a couple of quick presses on the button, and then when we get to 3000 RPM, I'm going to hold the button down. There it is, holding the button down. There's that kick that tells us the electronics has recorded that position. So I'll let the button go again, and we'll repeat the same thing for 5000 RPM. Okay, we're getting close to 5000 RPM now. A couple of quick presses on the button to slow the needle down. And I'm holding the button again now. And there's the kick. Now, when I release the button this time, the needle will go all the way back to 0. And then it's going to go to 3 positions. And those 3 positions are the 3 choices for the number of cylinders on your car. So I'll let the button go. There the needle goes all the way back to 0. And it's going to go to 3 positions. And the first position is going to be 1000 RPM. And that represents 4 cylinders. So if you wanted 4-cylinder setting, you'd stop the needle there. Then it's going to go to 3000 RPM, that represents 6 cylinders. And then finally, it's going to go to 5000 RPM, and that represents 8 cylinders. And if you don't choose one of those, it will just keep repeating that cycle. So I want to set this rev counter up for 6 cylinders, so I'm going to stop it at 3000 RPM. So there it's at 1000, I don't want that. And there it's coming round to 3000. I'm going to hold the button down there, wait for that kick, and that says the electronics has recorded that position and it's set the rev counter for 6-cylinder operation. Now I'm going to let the button go again, and this time it's going to go to 0 and give us two choices, and they are for the polarity of the signal. So first of all, it's going to go to 1000 RPM, and that represents negative earth or positive earth with electronic ignition. And the other position it will go to will be 5000 RPM, and that represents positive earth with contact breakers. So I want to set this rev counter to negative earth, so I'm going to let it repeat its cycle again and stop it at the 1000 RPM point. There we are. I'll hold the button down again and it will give me another kick. There it is, and that says it's set the system for negative earth. So I'm going to let the button go again now, and the needle will go back to 0, and that is the rev counter calibrated. And if you at any point decide you need to change the calibration for any reason, then you can just repeat this procedure. So that's the rev counter calibrated, and thank you for watching.